Man.
Yeah.
What happens to my property value if someone dies in it?
I don't know. Let's find out.
This MESSION Ignite, no bullshit business. Hi, welcome to MESSION Ignite. Here, we uncover the no bullshit stories from successful individuals and ignite your dream to success.
So joining us today is Marc Chan, a powerhouse in Singapore's real estate scene, one of the stars of Property Lim Brothers. Known for his infectious energy, creative approach to property marketing, Marc doesn't just sell homes. He crafts dreams and delivers experiences.
But it hasn't always been a smooth ride. From navigating steep roadblocks to celebrating big wins, Marc's journey is packed with grit, humor, and a whole lot of heart. So get ready for a fun and inspiring episodes as Marc spills the tea on his ups, the downs, and everything in between, plus some golden advice for young entrepreneurs looking to crush it in their own journeys. Hi, welcome to our show, Marc.
Hey, thanks for having me, TD and Matthew.
It's actually our pleasure, right? So why don't you share with our audience out there, right, who you are?
Okay, so I currently serve as the VP of Operations at Property Lim Brothers. So some of you might have seen us on YouTube, on some of the social media channels. We basically do home tours to creatively market homes to its fullest potential, right? And what that means is basically to sell it at the highest price possible and also at the quickest time.
Yeah. So you're like property agents or agency per se, right?
Yes, so we technically we have two entities. We have a realty arm, which basically handles property transactions, and then we also have a media creative agency that supports basically all the media work that we do.
So I also understand that you are also a high performance coach.
Well, I mean, that is part of my role at the company. So as VP of Operations, basically to ensure things run well, that means also being involved with basically leading the team, various departments. I mean, in PLB, we have about 15 different teams in different
15
departments.
minutes, wow.
Yeah.
Departments or agencies or leads?
Like different teams. So we have like brands and marketing, we have like an editorial arm, we have research, we have prop tech, we have our entire media arm, creative ads, and the list kind of goes on.
Okay.
Yeah. So I mean, we work a little bit differently in a sense. We have what we call like project teams. Yeah, so a little bit like what Apple does. So the project teams basically they take care of that project as their baby.
Okay.
So in it, there are different teammates who will form that team.
Right. So there's like a matrix kind of a team where you plug certain key members and form that team itself, and you run the project. Once the project is done, then you disband it.
Yes.
Oh, wow, that's very...
So by project, we mean like a property project lah.
Yes. It could be a property project.
Okay.
It could also be like, for example, like this year, perhaps we want to launch this campaign to talk about a new prop tech tool we have. Like we had this thing which we launched in 2024 called AI Renovation.
Okay.
Right. So although it sounds very simple, it's a AI that helps with virtually renovating a home.
Wow.
So if you can picture me, let's say you go into a big landed home and maybe this family has lived there for 30 years. There's going to be quite a lot of stuff barang at home,
yes.
Yeah.
right? And sometimes it's hard. I mean, when we shoot home tours, we need to prepare the home. Meaning we need to declutter certain areas.
Yeah. Stage, right?
Stage the home. But there are certain homes where maybe this particular room, there's really nowhere else that I can move these items to. Or sometimes we kind of move everything to one room and we lock up that room.
Okay.
Or we don't shoot that room.
Okay.
But we utilize the AI renovation to kind of still shoot the room, but it can automatically
Remove
declutter everything.
all the
different...
And put in
wow.
like a renovator. You can even choose what kind of theme you want the room to be renovated with.
Wow.
Right, like Scandinavian, you like modern, contemporary, etc.
So is this developed by you or?
It's a tool that we work with like a partner to kind of develop, and we use it for homes like that. And so usually when the project comes together, it means that okay, we're going to launch this to the market. Our brands and marketing team needs to come in. We need to create an ad. We need to put this on our website, so the tech team is also involved. We need to see how to implement this as part of our workflow when we have a new client kind of onboarding with our team, right, and so on. So it's an entire project basically to launch something. Right. So
that's very interesting. Well, I think most property, companies and all, they are looking at probably just buy property, sell property, buy property, sell property.
You just list it on Property Guru.
Yeah, you guys are very, very, very forward thinking. Right. So I'm curious. I think Property Lim Brothers, you guys has been famous, right, for all the house tour, right? How did that idea came up?
Right, it's a question. It's an interesting question. Like we get this quite a fair bit. So I think how we kind of came up was it's actually not a new thing. So if you kind of zoom back, our first home tour was launched in Singapore in December of 2016. But actually, if you look at the westernized countries, it's quite popular back then, like in the US, in Australia, and all that. Yep. It was just in Singapore. It came because of I think it's a problem in the market where we felt that, hey, like the property is one of your largest assets, but why is it marketed in such a hasty way? Like why is there no proper thought process?
Okay.
Yeah, like put behind this. And easily, if you ask any Singaporean or even anyone in the world, likely their largest asset is going to be their property, right? So why is it done in such a hasty manner? Yeah. So that's kind of how we started. Like, okay, then what can we do to kind of bring this home? And that was also when the influx of social media came in, right? So how do we bring homes to people when they are kind of scrolling, their Facebook, their IG and all that. Yeah, so that was how it kind of came together. Yeah.
So it became the selling sunsets of Singapore.
Yeah. Now it's a popular show.
It is.
Netflix show, right?
Yeah, it's a Netflix show. Yeah. So I'm curious, how did you actually get into this line?
So I mean, I didn't start off with property. I started in 2019, but prior to this, I ran a couple of small businesses. I was in education for a while. I was in F&B for a while. I also learned quite a few of skill sets right there. From there, I had my company, my first education center actually, when I first started out, small place. Actually, I almost started after 6 months.
6 months?
After 6 months. So I had no students for 6 months.
Oh, wow.
Even after doing all the traditional marketing. Your flyers, outreaching here and there. Back then, I think there was still like Groupon deals or street deals. I don't know if y'all recall.
Yeah,
yes.
Groupon, definitely.
So you buy some kind of voucher to come for a workshop.
Yes.
Right. Okay. I had like maybe 1 or 2 people who kind of signed up for those workshops, but after that it was kind of dead. So then what happened was I stumbled into a Facebook ad. Right. Back then, it was this coach. I went to him. I told him, if nothing happens, I'm going to close down my business.
Okay.
Can you help? Right. So I learned a whole great deal about how Facebook marketing works. Like what is copywriting? How do you write how do you do a website, a landing page? How do you run a Facebook ad even? Right. So that happened. I wrote my first, created a short website, simple one. And that was when I had my first lead that came in the next week. I ran, I think it was like $5
and then
Facebook ads.
Okay.
Actually, at that period, in fact, I had to even borrow money from a friend, to kind of pay for that coach also.
Okay.
Yeah, and that kind of turned things around. So it took off. After that, I went from, that 1 student, and after 6 months, I think I had about 120 students.
Wow. From 6 months, no student to 6 months later, 120 students.
Yes. So
just from one coaching. Wow.
Yeah, so that I think, also, I mean, that was one of the takeaways. But I think internally I realized, in fact, when I first went to meet this person, I was quite skeptical, like, what is this Facebook marketing all about, right? Like, what is this? Like, you just pay for some ads, run online, and then you get...
Was it expensive cost?
Couple of thousands. But I think internally it also gave me a new kind of a wisdom in a sense that actually in the business, sometimes even one small little trigger point like that could turn around something very huge. Right, so I think that has been something that I've taken along in my business journey. Doing my own business, or now even when I'm with Property Lim Brothers. And then of course, fast forward, so I kind of moved on from the businesses. I exited, and then I actually wrote how I came to know Property Lim Brothers was as a consumer.
Oh,
so I saw I saw a ad on Facebook. So if you go back and scroll our Property Lim Brothers YouTube channel, 2016, 2017, right? You see the guy still in long sleeve shirt, tucked in with belt and long pants, right? That's from the early era. So that was when I saw Melvin online. And I realized these guys are doing something a little bit different. I mean, back then I just thought like, oh, it's just Property Guru.
Yeah.
Right. And then I saw this guy. So I followed them. Right, interesting content. I learned about property, watched nice homes. And then there came to a stage whereby, okay, so after I kind of moved on from the businesses, I was like, what am I going to do next? Interesting thing was when I looked at my own family home, so I live in a HDB back then, together with my family, and I was looking at the price that we bought, and then now, right, I realized, how come this HDB lost like 6 figures, like 100 over 1,000?
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah, so I thought like in Singapore,
Lost value lah.
Lost value,
Okay,
right?
okay.
So basically, I mean, it's not realized lost, but on paper,
It's
you notice
not
the
selling as
transactions
high
came
now.
Suggestion
down,
lot, yes.
right? So it puzzled me. Like I thought in Singapore, people buy, especially HDB homes.
Yeah,
why
it's-
would they lose money, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was like alarm bell. Like what's happening? And it started my journey to kind of watch all this real estate content a little bit, read out a little bit. And yeah, that's kickstarted my journey. So I went to take the course.
Okay.
So become a property agent.
Yeah, registered for the course. Just out of a knowledge base kind of thing. And then after a while, I think I reached out to Melvin. I believe I wrote him an email. I think he still has it. Sometimes he still shares during our like
about you, is it
group
introduced you,
training.
is it?
What Mark wrote to me back then. Yeah, I mean vaguely what I recall was I said, okay, I ran some businesses. These are my skill sets. Although I see what you're doing is very interesting, I hope to be able to see how I can value it with my skills, not just as a realtor, but maybe in other ways.
Okay.
Yeah. That was, I believe it was 2018 actually. Yeah, 2018. Yeah, so about 6 years back.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
What is
Also,
such-
that's about the time I started seeing, because Mark is a long-time friend of mine, right? So started seeing him on selling properties or somewhat related to properties.
Right.
Okay.
I mean, that's very interesting. I mean, you went through from having your own education center, then you started off property, right? That leap of faith, right? Just by watching a few videos, wasn't it scary?
Yes, I think it was actually the thought that kind of went through my mind, right, before I kind of answered that question was, if it wasn't for, I think, Property Lim Brothers, because I think the real estate sector has a certain stigma. When you tell your friends you're a property agent,
Yes.
similarly, I think when you're a FA as well, right? People always have this stigma, you want to sell me something or you want me to buy something.
Right.
So it's not it's not really a bad thing, but I just felt more like, okay, this company I think is or this team back then is really finding a way to value add. Like there's just a lot of value giving, even back in the initial stages where we did short little educational series. I mean, that was when Melvin was filming it, to give back and to educate. And actually, if you look at the home tours, they're also a way of education. Like if you have never been to a landed home or you never lived in one, just by watching through the lens of the eyes of the realtor, you're also learning something. Like, oh, I didn't know landed homes can have lifts inside. Or hey, there's a pool that's like that. Or there's this kind of thing, right? So I think in itself, it is also educational. In fact, up to today, if you watch our home tours, I mean, they started as 2-minute videos our longest one, I think, is an hour long. It's almost like a Netflix
Wow.
show.
Okay, wow, an hour.
But those are, a little bit different.
I've seen like 15, 20 minutes.
As if,
an hour,
I never
no
seen an
lah.
hour. 15 minutes, yes, I did.
Yeah, I think we had one quite recently. We did it for a developer. So it's a whole show,
Okay,
flat
okay.
tour. There are different unit types, and all that. But it's also educational. Yeah. So that was kind of, coming back to the question, right? Was it scary? I thought that, okay, I think these guys are doing something different. Like they're different. Whether it will work or not, still don't know, question mark.
Okay.
But I think if I wanted to join a real estate company, this is the only company I would join. Yeah, if that means in a way, if not for PLB's existence, I probably would not have maybe
Considered.
stepped into real estate.
Real
at all.
estate. Okay.
Well, that
Yeah.
much belief that you have with them, right?
Yeah.
Why?
I think it's not so much the so there's this saying, I mean, it's the real estate actually is just the industry, but I think how you bring value to a certain domain, like how are you adding value to the audience or this community or this industry, I think that's more important, whether it is being in the financial industry. Maybe even like recently, I mean, I was very intrigued by Josh's TikTok. There's this lady who showed how to repair rim tires. I don't know if you all seen it.
Young lady, is it?
Young lady, yeah.
Yes, yes, yes.
lady
You open a
repairing rim.
second-hand shop, car repair shop.
Right, so
Yes.
they help to repair rims. It's actually near our place.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, so that intrigued me. Like, why are you doing content on just this young lady, very young lady. She's, in fact, later on when I know, she also appeared on the papers and all that. She was actually in if I recall correctly, some kind of financial, like a venture capitalist company,
Oh.
and then she left to help her dad in this business.
Yes, how about that?
Yeah, to turn it around.
I didn't know, sir. Oh, wow.
No,
interesting.
I think they just moved to a bigger location and all that lah. Yeah, but I mean, that is value adding. She's educating people on like how rims, you can repair rims, what kind of tires there are. Yeah, just adding value to the sector that you are an expert in, right?
Yes.
So I think that's more important. Like no matter which sector you're in, I think it's important to see how you can give before you take. Yeah. In fact, in real estate, I always tell my team also, it's not about the property. In fact, the business is all about people. It's about how you value it to these people. Yeah. I think that's more important, because if you look at the industry today, even HDB, nothing against the government, they have also launched the portal. You can technically transact your HDB without an agent.
Yeah.
Right. So that says quite a fair bit, right? Like even the industry itself is disrupting the agents already. Yeah. So if you don't find a way to value add, then I think you are going to get disrupted. Yeah.
I think that's a very good point. So I think, ladies and gentlemen here, right, out here, I'm going to ask a very hard question to both gentlemen here. Right. So in case you guys don't know, Matthew is in the financial service industry.
Yeah.
So Mark is in the property industry. Right. And I think most of the people out there, right, we have been very curious, right? And we have asked a lot of questions to compare both industries. So here I'm going to ask one tough question to each of you is, if there's one chance that you have improved the opposition's industry, that means like you to financial, right, what we have done differently, and you to property, what we have done differently, based on your experience in your own industry.
You can start first. Because you're the guest for today, so you start first.
Okay, interesting question. I mean, going on that a similar kind of notion, I think these two industries are heavily regulated for the right reasons. I think it should be. Right. I mean, for those who are unaware, maybe some of our younger audience, last time, I mean, in the real estate industry, it was a cowboy town. Before the existence of the CEA, which is the Council of Estate Agencies, basically they govern all the agents in Singapore. I think FAs have a similar kind of association.
MES,
MES, right? Right. So, before this, it was really cowboy town. You can do anything.
Right.
Nothing stops you. Just basically you can get a deal closed. You are the winner.
Yes.
Right. Whether it's ethical, it's not ethical, whether there's integrity.
As long as you get the deal closed, right?
Yeah, as long as you get it closed.
Yeah.
So I mean, coming from there, I think now it has evolved to a state whereby there is already regulatory frameworks in place, which is great. I think it gives more certainty to the consumers. With regards to how I think it can, I wouldn't say change, but I think if there is anything I would do, if let's say I led an advisory team like in the financial space, I think it's quite similar. Like how would I maybe find an area, because I think in this insurance or wealth management kind of a portion, there's so many different services available. What is that niche that I want to be known for first? Right. So coming back to like PLB was known for marketing of homes. Like sometimes we do so much selling of homes. Sometimes our clients ask us, do you help clients to buy homes? Right. But it's a positioning thing. Right. But because we felt that I think that's an area that we could add value most first, we kind of started off there. And then of course we venture on to other things. I mean, later on, if we get to that segment, we can kind of chat about that. Yeah. So I think it's that
part,
positioning,
like the
and how do you
unique
add
position
value.
and all.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay, what about you, Matthew?
I think for property, I'm just trying to recall, when you asked that question, I'm just trying to recall what was the feeling like when I sold my property. Okay. I had a very good friend who came in, and that was nearing the end of COVID. Or at least circuit breaker. No, not the end of COVID, but the end of circuit breaker. And then he basically came in and marketed the place. He was quite fast. I think within 3 or 4 days, he managed to sell the place. But at that point of time, I think the supply was low and the demand was very, very high. So I was quite lucky in that sense. Thinking back, there was quite a bit of, I would say, education that requires, needs to be done with regards to what are the financial steps required of a sale. So in my opinion, it was sell a house and then get a loan, but there are many things in between. There is, can you sell your house fast enough for you to buy your next house? Right. There's a bridging loan, and stamp duty. Stamp duty is usually not. They will tell you there's stamp duty, but in your head you would have to calculate. If you're not someone very who's very familiar with the finances, there is a chance that that's a deal breaker. Yeah, your stamp duties, your bridging loans, and you realize that you're not liquid enough, the thing doesn't complete in 3 months, then you're screwed.
Oh, that's really interesting.
So I think in terms of to sort of like put conclusion in that point, education needs to be done more on the finance component. Yeah.
Wow.
It's coming from this.
I think thank you both for that. So, ladies and gentlemen, right, if you have any other questions, right, you can put in the comments, right. If we don't cover in this podcast, right, I'll probably ask them on a separate round. I'll invite Mark and Matthew back, right, and we will answer those questions. So back to you, Mark. I think for you, you started off as an education agency, startup, right, and then we went to Property Lim Brothers. So it has always been a very entrepreneurial route. What got you attracted to this route?
Okay, like why entrepreneurship in the first place? Okay. I mean, I think it all starts for various people at different kind of junctures. How I kind of started on this was like I think in Singapore, a lot of us go through that whole private tutoring kind of route. Like when we were studying, we would give tuition or just help, our younger cousins or siblings or the aunties, like kids and stuff like that. So it started from there, just being able to provide a service, and then you earn a little bit of pocket money, right? And then it evolved to, so after, kind of finishing tertiary education and all that, like I was at that crossroads whereby I was actually working for a short period, maybe about a year. It was in the commercial kind of like space planning, office furniture kind of setup kind of space. And then I was still kind of like tutoring on after work or like on the weekends. But I think what really changed was when I was reading quite a fair bit on like all these entrepreneurs basically, right, and their journey. I think that I wouldn't say it's not promise, but I think that whole notion of being able to create your own type of value or creating something, right, out of to value add again, right?
Creating something based on your own skill sets.
Based on your own skill sets, based on your own experiences, knowledge, right? And being able to kind of use that to help someone, I think that is a little bit magical in that sense. I mean, personally, because I enjoy creating things, I think that was how kind of it started, that whole journey, right? So actually how I started was I sat down, I was doing up I don't know how to do a business proposal back then. I just did up like Excel spreadsheet. Okay. Went to my parents and said, hey, mom and dad, I know I've been tutoring for a while. I'm thinking of starting my business. This is my plan. It was a 1-page Excel spreadsheet. Okay. It was a little bit, and I just showed them the figures and then I said, it's basically to pitch for a loan from them. Yeah. And that's how it got started. Okay. Yeah.
So they gave you the loan?
Yes.
So your loan application was success?
Yeah, successful loan application.
Yeah. My first pitch. First
angel investor, right?
Yeah.
So what's a major milestone or one of the first major milestones in your career that give you this confidence to keep pushing forward? I think you mentioned just now, 6 months in, no
new students, almost closed down.
Yeah.
Right.
So what gave you the confidence?
I think that change, that one change, right, and being able to learn about this one thing called like Facebook ads back then, already created a big change, like from a failing business to one that was generating like 6 figures in 6 months. That was a huge change just because of one small little thing that I took action on. Okay. So I kind of told myself that what if I could continue in this on this kind of a journey, meaning to say, I mean, I have this belief inside where the faster I kind of do something, or the faster you fail, the faster you will grow. Right. That means I'm someone that I will likely just launch into action first and then try to figure it out along the way. If it kind of fails, that's fine. I'll treat it as I've learned something and let's see how to do better in the next one. Yep. Right. So I think that spirit has helped me in a lot of the things that I've done, whether it's in my own capacity, my own businesses, or whether it's in PLB or Property Lim Brothers, where we are growing so rapidly. I think the entire team, like the leadership team, together with our guys, we all take on this approach, which is why we always like to try and brainstorm for new things, and we are never afraid to try. Yeah, always try first. We launch what we call the most viable product in the market. Yeah. And then we can see along the way how we can tweak the thing to make it even better.
Right.
Yeah, if it fails, even better. Fails fast so that we know this thing doesn't work. Let's
Then
go to
move
plan
on
B
lah.
and plan C.
Okay.
Yeah, so I think that whole so it comes from creation, being able to create something, and then also I think this whole belief that only if you try and if you fail faster, you can kind of move faster. Yeah.
So when the education center was making money, what prompted the shift in direction, or to sell it away, or to move to real estate?
So actually what happened was I had one center, and later on we actually expanded to a second center. I think it's like that in the market. I mean, where the market will shift. So from when I first started, that was I think 2013, 2014. When I first launched a $5 like kind of ad campaign, I could get leads already.
Yeah.
But along the way, of course, the market picks up.
Matured, right? The marketing market.
Yeah, more people now are running ads.
Yeah.
There's more competition, which also brings me to my point. I think I also learned something, which is if I back then, I think one thing that I also learned was I was a little bit kind of like resting on my laurels. Like, okay, I did it once already lah. I think this thing will just work. I don't need to innovate anymore. I'll just do what I need. And I think that took went a little bit, it went down basically.
Okay.
And then realized, okay, the student count is dropping. How can we then change? So eventually I think it reached a point whereby, okay, I think it's time to kind of venture into something else. That's how I kind of moved on.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if not real estate,
Yeah.
then what other career paths have you chosen? Would you have chosen?
Yeah.
So interestingly, my first job, why I selected that kind of position was I wanted to, I love interior design actually.
Okay.
So I wanted to join an interior design firm as like a
designer, like
maybe
a
designer,
core manager.
BD, kind of a thing. That's how I ended up in a commercial sort of like space planning company. Yeah, that was the closest to it. Which I think today that has also helped because of the work I do now, right? I still need to understand a bit of interior design.
Yes.
So it kind of mishmash and came together. If not, maybe something related to architecture, lor. Yeah, something. It's still I think real estate related.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's it. I'm curious because I think just now you did mention that everything you did, you just try it out. Try and error, and then if it fails, right? What was your biggest failure or biggest setback that you ever had?
Biggest failure. Wow, that's an interesting one. So I think other than the education center one, that one was quite a
hit.
It went down and then we kind of went up exponentially.
Uh-huh.
But I think after that, the education center kind of went down again. Right. So I did try like a F&B place as well.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so I did F&B for a while.
Okay.
It was actually part of I had a friend who was running a chain of F&B stores. They sell like curry chicken and stuff, like local delights. Yeah, 干面and this kind of stuff. He wanted to test out his franchising system. He asked, "Hey bro, do you want to be my guinea pig?" Something along those lines.
Okay.
So we, me and my business partner, then we decided. He was also the partner for my education center.
Okay.
We tried. Did well for the first few months, but then I think after that we realized, okay, F&B is a very heavy traffic footfall kind of place.
Okay.
Didn't really work out. Basically, had to exit. Yeah, we had to break lease and all that lah. I think it was a painful journey in a sense. There was definitely you would have suffered some level of not just income, but I mean the amount that kind of sink in to renovate like F&B and all that, right? It's quite a fair bit. But I mean I think the biggest failure point is not so much about a business. But I think internally, even when we were growing PLB, there were stages where I had to struggle with different things. So for example, I started off as a realtor. That means I got my license, I became a real estate agent,
Yes.
right? And as the team was growing, this was when we were also thinking of how to structure the team as we grew. Because we are, our team is a little bit different in the sense we do have an open door recruitment policy. We have quite a rigorous kind of like interview process.
Okay.
Right, to ensure that we have the right kind of fit of people in the culture, value system, before we kind of enroll them. So that was like, okay, so I was doing sales and then I went into a position where I was in this role as like what we call like a consultant. That means I don't handle the viewings, but I go and pitch for deals together with a teammate. And
Okay.
then later on, they would
manage
run
the
manage the
viewings.
account and manage the clients. Yeah. So that was a shift in a sense, like of job scope lah, in a sense. But later on, as the company grew, there were more things that I had to struggle with. Like, because when you do this, you're running from a full commission model. And then if I had to do things like I need to train the team, I need to set up systems, SOPs and all that, right? Which I think like what Matthew was also going through. Like, how do I then handle that portion? So I think the struggle was I went through a period of I was feeling very overwhelmed, basically very burned out. And I think it was sometimes I was thinking like, is it easier if I just stay as a realtor and don't think about doing so many things?
Yeah.
It will be a simpler path,
Yeah.
clear cut,
straightforward.
yeah. Close deals, get commission, right? And then that's the
That's it,
kind of
yeah,
holiday,
yeah.
right? But I think for me, I think what internally I felt that what would help me to reach I wanted to be able to create more value, add more value, right, to the company. So it was always about filling certain gaps in the company. That is how I kind of grew along. So I went from that role to leading the sales team. And later on, now, I mean, I'm also in charge of kind of like overseeing the media aspect and the HQ team. So my role has pivoted and shifted along the way. And a lot of the challenges, I think, came from there's this thing about run, like people,
Okay.
right? As when you kind of grow in a company, the challenge is always handling and not handling, but kind of like how can we help to grow these people that are with us?
Yeah.
Right? Because PLB is not an MNC. We didn't start off and we had like all the A players coming into us. I mean, we started off with people who believed in what we did. Similarly, like your question, right, TD? Like, why do you choose to be in this? Like, so the first. Our first hire is still with us today.
Wow.
Second
Wow.
hire as well. Yeah. So even up to
Melvin
today.
and
No, not the founders. Like, I mean, our staff.
Okay.
Right. Like, so like our art director is still with us. Our HR director, they were like hire number 1 and hire number 2. I think Melvin hired them, interviewed them in a kopitiam. You know, like they didn't have an office back then, right? So, so I mean, that means over time, having all these teammates with us, it means my struggle was how do we continuously help them to grow. Yeah. While of course achieving our company's objectives to grow, I mean, business revenue and all that. But at the same time, I think sometimes we say that internally in PLB, we are a bit like a nurturing kind of a school. Like the teammates who come here, they stay with us through their different seasons of their life. Some of them get married, they have kids and all that, right? And I think that is something that's always at the back of not just my mind. I think like our leadership team, we usually think about it from that perspective.
Yeah.
How do we help them grow? And then over time, how do we also help them to develop new kind of skill sets?
Yeah.
So there's this, have you heard of this word called polymath?
Polymath.
Yeah.
I mean, you can always define to
Okay,
our viewers
so-
out there. Yeah.
Yeah, so polymath, I think, is something that you will hear us talk about quite
Okay.
a fair bit. So the polymath basically, like if you're hired for a certain skill set, let's say you're a video editor, right?
Right.
You maybe are very good at editing a video. And then over time, how do you go deep in that niche and skill set that you have?
All right.
Then you will grow into different parallels that are kind of related. Maybe you learn how to be director of photography, like how do you
Okay.
shoot and all that. And then you evolve to maybe even script writing, like storyboards, if you want to do ads, right? So like we hope to have everybody grow into this polymath. Yeah. So I mean, that also links to other things. Like for example, we recently launched a school. It's called Assembly. It's our school of media and real estate. So it's an
Okay.
academy. Basically,
very interesting.
Yeah, you can, even as a realtor, you can actually sign up for a course. And Melvin actually has this, he has done it's an e-learning course. You can sign up for it.
Okay.
You can learn about how to position yourself as a realtor.
As a realtor.
As a realtor. So it's a course. Just a couple of months back, we did a property summit. So it was an event to educate consumers on how to become a buyer or seller. Like, how do we think as an agent? And we're passing down these skill sets to you. That means you can actually go and DIY with these skill sets.
Right.
And then down the road, we also have courses like how do you do things like video editing? How do we edit home tours and things like that? Yeah. So this actually, why is a school is important segment for us is it actually has a 3-prong approach. One is of course to the consumers, they can learn. Second is our internal teammates, especially our leaders, once they reach a certain level, they can become a coach in this school, and it becomes like a form of passive income for them.
Yeah.
Meaning whatever they create, their costs, they actually get a 50-50 split.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's to help them develop also a passive income.
Develop in IP, intellectual property,
correct.
content.
Yeah. But it's funny that, I mean,
Third prong.
it's the problem.
Yeah, I mean, of course, for the company, then it's also another source of
Income.
income revenue as well. Yeah. So it's a kind of three-pronged kind of approach.
Right. So, because I think it's very funny that you say this, because I think for both of you guys, and you mentioned that Matthew also is doing that. So I'm very curious, because I think you guys mentioned that you guys are a self-employed industry. So as a self-employed industry, pretty much you are your own boss, right? You do what is required and you're done with it. But what makes you guys think out of the box and do that extra work? Does it value add to your businesses as self-employed? Because when you said, hey, how do I help them grow? But they are self-employed, what? They have their own business, what? If they don't do anything about it,
They can grow themselves.
then is there a problem, isn't it? Right?
Yeah.
So why do you do this?
Or what's the aspiration for doing that?
Yeah.
Yeah, in PLB.
I mean, okay, so I think maybe just to kind of clarify on that portion, right? So we actually have like for our leadership team, like in the sales team, we don't handle that means so our company generates leads.
Yes.
In kind of a TLDR format, right? So we generate leads and we actually pass it out to our realtors.
Okay.
So what happens is there are a few of us in the team, like the management level, where we don't take the leads. That means because at certain industries, sometimes maybe like for example, the bosses might keep the leads for themselves and give maybe the smaller
Not
ones.
so good leads out.
So we don't want to be in that position. We want to share everything, whatever the company has, we want to share with our guys. So we don't do any of the leads. That means the management team, we actually step out and we are actually employed by our company now. So we don't
so you're like full staff.
Yeah, so we are fully salaried staff. I think about the management level, maybe 4 to 5 of us. Yeah, so this gives us, but it also means sacrificing
The upside
opportunity,
Yes.
right? Because when you're self-employed, it means potentially, I mean, the cliche saying is the sky's the limit,
Yeah.
right? But basically, you are in control of your own business.
Yep.
Right. So we actually take that leap of faith. Of course, we usually have a conversation, ask them, are you ready? If you're going to do this, this is what's expected, right? Yeah. But I think the heart for a lot of our leaders is really them coming in to be able to nurture and grow the next generation, so to speak.
Yes.
Yeah. So that we do that with a conversation. Only if they're ready, they take on this kind of a role. Yeah.
Right.
So maybe the fulfillment is a little bit different. I guess what we're saying is maybe at different life stages, you might have different priorities. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, so I think that makes Property Lim Brothers very, very unique, because I think, like what I mentioned, most of you guys are self-employed, right? For you to be so selfless to think of the next generation and pretty much no longer have that sky per se, right? It's actually a very, very huge sacrifice that you guys made, right? For the younger ones. Wow, this is awesome, right?
Yeah. I mean, I think internally, I think the guys don't see it as a sacrifice. I think it's more about because there always is a...
It's true, they will have their own worldview,
Yeah. There always has to be a balance, right? Somebody has to come in to see how to take on this role. And it's a necessary role for the team to kind of to grow. And at the end of the day, I think it is back down to the consumers or our customers. Like, how do we continuously benefit them? But is it through growing this team? Or is it because only by growing a team, then we believe we can create greater impact. So it kind of links back to our belief.
Yeah, but it is very forward thinking, because like I said, most self-employed will just kept it a very simple system, but you guys have even went one notch up, right? And became like almost a corporatization, right? And make sure that every single self-employed agent comes in, they have a benefit of a self-employed freedom and benefits, right? And a system and process of a corporatization. That's awesome.
So I'm curious, because there are many agents, realtors out there, right? What do you think this differentiation, this point of differentiation is what makes you're successful, or it's just one of, I don't know, the many ways to do things?
I don't think it's one. It's probably I think when somebody today looks for an agent or a real estate like a person, I mean, it's very different from maybe if you kind of rewind like maybe 15, 20 years back, right? I think the needs and wants of the consumer today is very different. Back then, it was probably like classified ads. Like you find these things in the newspaper.
Yeah, I can remember.
Right?
My
Circle.
uncles, aunties, they will go circle. Yeah.
Then after that, we moved on to the
Property
.com,
Guru.
which is Property Guru, portals, websites. And now we are in that social media age.
Yeah.
That is just one aspect. But I think if you look at it from the kind of service that the realtors kind of provide, it's also different now. Like we're seeing consumers who come in, like because another thing we kind of did, we started doing is like conventions and mini clinics. Okay, so for example, like just last month we had a landed clinic in one of the cafes. So we partnered up with the cafes. It was in the northeast area in Punggol. So we were at North Shore Plaza. We went there and then we brought together the community of landed owners who live in the District 19 zone. They came down. It's an educational kind of like clinic, basically to learn about how District 19 is, you know, some of the frameworks we use to kind of look at properties and all that, landed properties. And it's also a chance to meet people. And I think we realized the consumers are very, they want to be educated. They want to know why you have selected a certain property in a certain way. It's no longer the days of I just tell you to buy this.
Why the realtor selected a property in a certain way?
Like how will you help me?
Okay.
Let's say today, right, I go with like Matthew, let's say he's the realtor. I go with Matthew. What's in it for me as a consumer? What do you know that could help me in my journey? Right? What is that thing that's in it? What's in it for me? How are you going to analyze this property for me? Right? They want to know the back end of it. Even though it might just be a home for their family, but I think everyone kind of wants their property to grow. Right, there are basically two main things that we talk about when it comes to property. One is the potential to kind of appreciate. The second one is what we call the ease of exit. Ease of exit meaning how easy it is to exit in future, because that will affect your opportunity costs, your timeline, etc., like your family plans as well. So they want to understand what kind of frameworks, what kind of methodologies do you use when you're selecting, let's say, a landed property or whether it's a condominium, right? Why is this facing, let's say as a condominium, you're facing the pool versus facing maybe the outward facing of the landed zone. Which one is kind of better for me? It's not better in the absolute sense, but relative, right? In terms of pricing, in terms of what are some of your
like
needs
do
and
you
wants.
actually need a school nearby? What kind of shopping center nearby, etc. Right?
Right. So other factors as well. So those things we actually have kind of codified it or quantified it into what we call at PLB we have something called the mode analysis.
Okay.
So our tech team kind of put together this analyzation tool. It pulls live data from government agencies and it scores the property using different kind of these 10 factors. So for example, school is what we call parents attraction factor. Right. So if it scores well, that means there are probably quite a number of schools in the 1 kilometer radius, right? Then there's things like volume effect. That means, are there a lot of transactions that happen within a certain period?
Yeah.
Because high transaction volume means it's a bit like the stock market.
People are interested in the area.
It means yes, there's demand.
Easy to liquidate lah.
Easy to liquidate. It's also higher potential for price movement. Yeah. So I mean, I think the needs and wants of the consumer market is very different today. They really want to be educated. They want to know. Sometimes they already know. Some of our customers, I think, sometimes when we meet them, right? The funny thing is, we realize that actually they know more than us.
Okay.
Yeah, and this is not even their full-time job. Yeah, they probably, I mean, because they live in the area or they've researched really very extensively, they know more than us.
Right.
As in more about the locality.
More about specific locale. But they still want to hear from us. Right.
To verify that
Reinforce,
information.
It's kind of just to
validate.
verify.
Yeah.
And I think it's very, I mean, not a lot of customers like that, but there are certain few that we have met. And we enjoy the banter with them. Like, in this area is like that, you know, they share about this fact and we also help to fact check for them. Yeah, so I think the needs and wants of the consumers really have changed over time. Right, and then kind of coming back. Sorry, what's the question again? Like,
I also can't remember.
but
okay,
but anyway,
Kira.
yeah, I think I think maybe just to kind of sum up this part, I think what I wanted to share was today's like consumer market, the needs and demands are very different from, like, if you're a realtor, I think 15, 20 years ago, right? Maybe life was a little bit simpler back then.
Okay.
Not so much websites, not so much tech, not so much research, and not so much data, right? But back then actually, the realtors carry a notebook in their pocket, man. And inside is like a Rolodex. That means they write Mr. Tan and etc.
Oh, wow.
This client looking for what? Because there's no website, right?
Yes,
Everything
yes.
is through a realtor. The realtor is like your hub to plug and to
CRM,
feed you information.
Yeah.
Yeah. But now it's different. Everything can be found online. Technically, you don't need a realtor one.
Right. Oh, that's very interesting.
So I was about to ask actually, what's one of the interesting parameters that people look out for, but are proven wrong one. For instance,
Some myths.
yeah.
Some myths. Okay. Okay, maybe. So you know power stations.
Like who died inside? No.
Okay, the who
Haunted
died
house.
inside.
Haunted
Yeah,
house.
that's also one common question we get.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, but anyway, in all, like if as a buyer, if you ask that question, the realtor has to answer you honestly.
Right.
If he has knowledge of that.
Okay,
that fact.
okay.
Yeah, so he has to answer. So if there's somebody passed on, let's say it's an estate home, which we have handled quite a few.
Okay.
Estate home means, yeah, you
Pass
know,
on,
pass
pass
on,
on,
it's
pass
in the
on.
will,
Estate
right? Yeah, so it's actually quite common. Yeah. The other thing is
You were mentioning power station.
yeah, power stations, right? You know,
Yeah.
power stations.
Yes.
Sometimes in condos you have them, you see them, they call them generator sets.
Okay.
Or sometimes in landed enclaves, you'll see this building, low rise usually. So they're worried that the
Electricity.
yeah, I
All
don't know,
the
maybe
charge.
EMFs,
Yeah, okay, the
electromagnetic
waves
fields,
and all.
yeah, affect health.
Uh-huh.
So recently we were marketing one of these homes. One of our colleagues actually brought down I don't know what that meter is called, but basically to test for electromagnetic fields.
The
Wow.
feng shui one, is it? That one also was spin on it.
Yeah, so when we pointed to the power station, there was hardly any movement in the needle. And then he turned the thing and he pointed his iPhone, and the thing just kind of like.
Oh, wow.
So we said actually it's true. I mean, there is no proven like health hazards
Okay.
for this.
The
In
phone
fact, your
is
phone
worse.
sleeping beside you at night has probably a little
Worse
bit
effects,
more side effects.
That's
worse
wow,
effects.
that's interesting.
So that's just curious. So does the property price really go lower if let's say it's I don't know, estate home or someone else murdered inside?
In a very general sense, usually yes. Usually yes.
Usually yes
Usually
lah.
yes if someone passed on in the home.
In the home lah.
In the home.
Okay, there's recency also, right? If like how recent? Last 10 years, no one cares, right?
I guess. Yeah.
The last 10
probably.
days, then yes.
10 days, yeah, maybe. Yeah, have a larger impact. Yeah.
Wow. So anyway, let's move on to our next segment, right? But just now we forgot to ask those questions, right? So in order to help us remember questions, let's move on to our next segment here. Welcome back, right? This is the Enzo session, right? So what happened is that in MESSION, we developed these cards for you to go to any networking sessions or not even networking, maybe a meetup one-on-one with a mentor, and for you to ask those questions, right, that you probably at that point in time couldn't ask or mind blank. Like just now, we probably asked halfway and we totally forgot about the questions. This will probably guide us, right? So today there's 4 acts in this whole deck, but today we're going to go through Act 2, right? So if you want to find out more, right, you can actually head out to our website, you can find out more. So back to you, Mark. So I'm going to pretty much, there's many ways to play this, but for you, we're going to do it a very, very simple way. I'm going to shuffle this card. I'm going to place the card facing down, right? And I would like you to pick up 2 cards and we'll ask the questions from there. All right?
All right.
Casino dealer, Tillerson doing his job.
Okay.
So,
I just picked 2, right?
just pick 2. As you can see, I'm not very good
Okay,
with
I just picked
casinos,
this 2.
building, Oh, all right, cool. So let me have the 2.
Okay.
Oh, wow, this is 2 mentors card. All right, so let me sit down first, right, in case the camera couldn't catch me and all. So the first card I have, right, is, the question is, who was the most influential mentor in your career and how do you meet them? Yeah, there you go. Yeah, in case you forget the questions.
Who was the most influential mentor?
Yeah.
Okay. I think there are, okay, maybe I'll start with someone I know in person. And because I think for me, I also like watch a lot of podcasts, I read a lot. Yeah, so maybe kind of split it into 2 parts. I think influential mentor for me in my career is probably my current CEO, so Melvin Lim. The reason for that is I think he has also gone through a very like the path that he went was like from a realtor to now leading like a media company and a real estate agency. He has also had I think we have quite a similar kind of thought process when it comes to kind of doing things. How he has influenced me, I think, was also over the years that I've been with PLB. This is my how many years already? I started in 2019, basically
6-7 years.
6 years, 7 years. Okay. Yeah. Not just, I think, when we come to talk about business, but I think even things like, so Melvin has 4 kids.
Okay.
And he runs this company, right? Still, sometimes I don't know how he does it. Right? Then he has to shoot home tours. He has to go for a podcast. He has to speak and all these kind of things, right? So I think even when it comes down to family time, like how do we intentionally spend family time? I think that's one thing that I look up to him, and I also learn, like how he blocks out time to spend with his kids. They even have what was he sharing with me the other day? He was talking about now he's away on a trip, family trip. He would intentionally spend one-on-one time with one of his children to do catch-ups and planning, and it's like intentional one, right? So I think sometimes when we think about family or children, we think that it's okay that they'll be there, we can just chat anytime.
Yes.
Right. But I think if you don't intentionally set time to talk about really what matters and kind of like to help to understand your child, over time, I think gaps will start to form, especially when we're in a position where usually we're very busy at work, right? I think that's even more prevalent. So I think intentionally, what we call time blocking, that's something that I learned, like time blocking for family. So for example, usually our time block, like Monday evenings is maybe like date night with the wife. Friday evenings are like family time. And then, Saturday, Sunday, we block out certain times for like maybe meals with the external family or the larger family. Yeah. So I think those things are really helpful when it comes to, I wouldn't say balance, but it's also from this book I read called The One Thing.
The One Thing.
The One Thing is by Gary Keller. Yeah. So the one thing actually, he mentions that in the book, there's this thing called counterbalancing. So the myth is, I always want to find a balanced life or work-life balance. But actually, if we want to do like great things, or if you want to do like good work, sometimes it's impossible to find work-life balance. Instead, what he talks about is this thing called counterbalancing.
Okay.
So counterbalancing, if you can kind of visualize, basically there are 2 lines that are in your life. There are basically 2 main things. One is work, one is life, which is like personal life, right? So in counterbalancing, what it talks about is if you are kind of working very hard on a project, sometimes you will stay late nights in office, or we're planning for a big event, we'll work very hard, right? And then we will kind of forsake the personal side, which is your family life, right? So there is no way to balance it both out, because if you have both that are balanced, sometimes your teammates will be very worried. Okay, a balanced life basically looks like that, meaning you are always ready to leave on the dot, which is nothing wrong. If you're working, like a...
you're efficient,
right?
Why not, right?
Yeah, but when it push comes to shove, let's say you have an event that's going to happen in 2 days' time, and there's this video
you need to OT right?
Yeah, you might need to work a little bit later, get the project out or get the video out, right? So sometimes if you are always on this and you don't have you don't deviate from it, right? Your teammates might find it very hard to work from you. Right? So what counterbalancing talks about is, for your personal life, you cannot treat it like a project. Your personal life has to be, there's actually a diagram, I don't know whether we can Google it, or we can add it in. Basically, you will see that there's a middle line, and the personal life is always very close to the middle line. That means you cannot go
too far away,
2 months without talking to your wife, or 2 months without talking to your kid, right? And then hope you can come back later. Whereas work sometimes takes us that way, just because of how projects are.
Right.
Okay.
Right? So basically, your personal life is you need to have constant touch points, which is like how you can kind of do it is to time block so that it kind of happens. Yeah, so it's a little bit like okay, if you look at a container, right? It's just a jar or container. There are 2 kinds of rocks. One is the big rock, one is the small rock.
Okay.
So the big rocks are things that you need to place into your calendar first, or what we will call time block in your space. Because if you want to have dinner with your wife or family, you need to maybe block off 2 hours, 3 hours, right? Travel and all that. If you don't, and your calendar, you fill it up with all the small rocks first, imagine your container, there'll be hardly space to plunk in the big rocks. Yeah. So usually how I kind of do it is to plonk in all the big rocks first. Whether it's a family vacation, I need to plan like 6 months down the road. Whether it's this event I need to be at, family kind of gathering, we plonk it in first, and then we fill it out with the smaller rocks. Yeah, so coming back to the counterbalancing thing, yes, I think it's that's the mental model that we usually also share with our team. Like it's, especially since we run so many projects level stuff here, right? having that kind of a mental model, what we call a mental model, helps you to process your kind of thought process, your thinking, when it comes down to being able to excel in your work and yet still being able to be a good, basically be good in your family ties as well. Yeah. So, yeah.
Nice.
I don't know whether I deviated or not.
No, it's
That's
good,
brilliant.
right?
I'm
so
gonna Google that.
ladies and gentlemen, right? One
one
question, right? Look at so many
one
things that
thing.
just came out, right?
Yeah.
From Mark. Wow. Second question, let's let Matthew deliver it.
Okay, so the second question is, how did your relationship with, it can be the same mentor or a different one, evolve over time, and how do you maintain it today?
Okay, great question. How did relationship with your mentor evolve? Wow. Okay.
So did he time block for you? Or the other way around?
Yeah, so I think the relationship now, I mean, as we all get busier, we put on different hats, right?
Okay.
So for me, I think I have to spend more time now with the internal team to ensure operations kind of run smoothly. And I think how do we kind of maintain is, I think there's two ways. One is also we time block. That means every month, every quarter, we will have a catch up.
Right.
Sometimes it's just in between. I'll just call him when I'm driving or when he's driving.
Okay.
Or sometimes, I think we have like what we call strategic retreat. So we'll spend like maybe 3 days away together with like our leadership team, and then we can kind of bond while also planning for the company at the same time. Yeah. So I think the relationship have evolved in a way whereby I would say it basically boils down to, I think, this one word. Not just with, I think, work, even my personal life. I think it's basically trust. I think the trust component is something that you can only, there's no shortcut to it.
Yeah.
And you have to earn it over time.
Over time.
Right. And today, sometimes even when I don't see this person, or not for my wife, but maybe for work purposes, I don't see him as in like, I don't see Melvin, right? We don't kind of talk directly. But we kind of still kind of understand that, okay, he's doing things there. He's on external facing, going for networking and stuff like that, meeting people, speaking. Whereas I'm kind of taking care of the internal, like our people, right? How are they doing? Yeah, how are projects running? So I think the relationship has evolved into a very trust-based kind of relationship. But at the same time, I think we also need to put certain, like what we call goals down on the table to ensure that we're all aligned.
Okay.
That means we can maybe run kind of like go all at different paces, but we make sure that we're kind of aligned to the north lah. We're kind of arriving there together. Yeah. So I think the relationship has evolved into trust based, while I think still intentionally kind of like you still have to make intentional effort to meet, to catch up, to talk about things.
From either end, right? From his end as well as your end, right? Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
From both ends.
Oh, there you go, right, ladies and gentlemen. That's how you use the Enzo card.
Welcome back. So Mark, if you could rewind time, right, and go back to maybe when you were 20s, early 20s, right? What's the advice that you give yourself starting out as an entrepreneur?
Wow. Okay. So basically to a younger
Mark.
self,
You,
younger
yeah.
person. Right.
Still as tall, but definitely younger.
Okay. I think if I'm like advice for somebody maybe who's in his maybe 20s or 30s, right? I think it's the time where you have the least amount of commitments. Right. It's also the time where you probably have the least amount of maybe commitments in terms of like finances, in terms of family, in terms of ties, like whether you have a kid and all that. I think it's the time where you should go and explore different things, whether it's something that you hope to do for your career. It might or might not be related to what you kind of studied or are educated in. It is a great time to go and try that. And then from those experiences, even if it doesn't work out, you will know that, okay, this is not for me, right? And what's next? And if I kind of go down further, once you pass like 30 onwards, I think that's where you need to start narrowing down your options, because that's where family commitments will start to creep in, whether you like it or not. I think that's where it starts. Also because of your, I think in terms of age, you need to start narrowing down and finding a niche that you think, maybe not think, but I think you're going to stay in for at least a good amount of time. Because this is a time basically for you to go deep. That means
Okay.
20 to 30s is like explore, try all sorts of different things. 30s to 40s is where you need to go deep. Yeah, that means go really deep in that
Right.
expertise or in that industry or that niche that you hope to carve out as a career.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Would you actually recommend someone to actually enter the property line? Actually, I'm curious.
The property line, as an agent, I suppose.
Yeah.
In today's world.
In today's world,
Yeah, in today's world.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's definitely a very lucrative market. If you do well, you see all sorts of you get a lot of financial kind of returns, right? But it's so if you look at the statistics, right, it's very interesting because I think about maybe out of 10 realtors or 10 new candidates who pass the exam and they start out in real estate, almost I would say 80 to 90% sometimes they drop out of the real estate business.
Oh, wow.
80 and 90.
Yeah, so it's a
Within,
very
within
high.
how long? Within
I think maybe within 1 to 1.5 years.
okay. Oh, no.
Yeah,
that's a very
assuming you
high
have given yourself
turnover.
time
Wow.
to really go and test out lah,
Yeah.
right? Like for a year, maybe a year and a half. Sometimes I mean we also see, and I think that is also because it is one of the largest assets of somebody's life. The kind of amount of trust that the person needs to have in you before they pass on their property for you to handle,
Right.
to transact or to sell, buy or rent, it's also a lot higher.
Uh-huh.
And I think kind of linking back to what the consumers demand these days, there is a high level of I think if you want to master and be a master like kind of realtor level, be a consultant level, give good sound advice, comparing to being able to transact as a transactor, I think being able to transact is just, you might survive maybe for a couple of months, but if you really want to do this in a long, like as a career,
Right. Yeah.
I think it takes a lot more these days. Yeah, just because of the demands of the clientele.
Right.
Yeah.
So in your personal aspect, do you think networking is actually important?
Networking, right? Yeah. I think whether you are someone that's employed, whether you are or self-employed for that matter, networking is basically knowing people. It's your network, right? Who do you know? I recently also read about this thing quite recently where they talked about the soft network and like the hard network.
Okay.
I can't remember whether it's the exact terms, but basically what it means is that the hard networks are like your close inner circle, right? So the inner circle are people that you will maybe give your life for to a certain extent. You really, really trust. But it also talks about the soft network where it might be people that you only say hi, bye, or acquaintances,
Okay.
but they are also as important because you never know when you might need some kind of help for them or resources.
Okay.
And I think vice versa as well. Yeah. So I think the short answer is yes. I think networking is important.
So amongst all of this, what do you think is the future for property in your opinion? You know, how do you think it will develop? You know, what do you think some of the interesting things that people can look out for?
Okay. I think with the onset of AI,
Uh-huh.
AI especially,
Yeah.
it's going to quicken things. Actually, before AI or the ChatGPT, all those news and everything everybody started using it. We were already of the thought that one day the market will be disrupted. That means one day the market won't need agents anymore, won't need realtors anymore. Because if you look at how
That's a very scary thought, actually.
yes, it is scary. Yeah, in fact, like it's also very interesting because if you think about it, it has already kind of evolved so much that actually you don't. If you think about it really hard, right, you don't need a realtor today. You can just go online. You can subscribe to some kind of software tools and all that, property related. You can do all the research yourself already. Information is all out there. It's unlike the 10, 15, 20 years ago where you need to rely on a realtor for information. So you can already do that. Now it's just the portion about, okay, let's say you're talking about purchasing, right? Today you can walk into any show flat and purchase a condo.
Okay.
In fact, if you look at the developer side of things, they might or might not need agents there as well. Why can't they just have their own
Staff to
sales
sell.
team or
Yeah.
somebody, to just help with the administrative portion of it,
Uh-huh.
right? They don't really need a realtor per se because information, again, is all there. And when it comes to selling, you can also sell your own home. Like just now we talked about the HDB portal. Technically, you can list your property as well. It's just whether, I think it's about a matter of time.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, some of our clients are very interesting. They have already, I met one, I remember a client, he has written out his entire script himself already. Like what is he going to say about the home?
Wow.
And he said, actually, you don't mind me. I know you all are the professionals, but it's just a hobby. And I watch so much of your home tour videos, right? Like I just kind of in my free time jotted this down for you. Hope it helps. So he already written all his bullet points down.
Nice.
He's just short of filming it only.
Okay.
Right. And the funny thing was, okay, so last year we had a client appreciation night. So we had a home tour challenge booth where we got our clients who came down, they could present the home like a home tour presenter, imagining they're us. So it was quite a fun thing. We recorded the whole thing and did it. Yeah, but okay, coming back to the point, sorry, digress. Yeah, so I think one day, tech, AI, AR and virtual reality, all these things, right, will come together. And we might not even need a human person
Right.
to transact properties anymore. So I think that's how the property market will evolve. As scary as may be. Yeah.
I think looking at how the virtual avatars, right, how Gen AI is moving, I really think that's a possibility. Yeah, how videos can be done, just typing it in and then you have something that pops up, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So with that said, what's your future that you envision?
What's our future?
Yeah.
My future.
Your future.
I think we always play the devil's advocate when we come to all this our strategy meetings or our annual hackathons, right? So we always think about how do we destroy ourselves first. Yeah, so we always come from the angle, right? And from there, then we'll think of solutions. Because when we think about this, it means that we'll be innovating something. We're going to change something for the better, right? So, one day, I think there will still be a need for human-to-human touch, especially when it comes to larger quantum type of transactions.
Okay.
People still want to feel that trust element. But then I think what's important is how do we then support this team? It might not be a huge kind of a agency maybe in the future. It might really just be a core team, or maybe there are different I think with the evolvement, it means there are different new roles that will also open up. Maybe we need people who will feed certain information into the system, right? Maybe they need experience. They need to talk to this bot and tell them what are the reactions from talking to a client that comes for a viewing, for example. Right? Actually, in the US, they have there's no realtor when you go for viewing. You can just go there, you can book everything online, schedule a viewing. You turn up the house, there's a little lockbox there, you just key in the PIN code and it's like OTP. And then you open the key and you just go in and view. So it's already happening.
Really?
Yeah. It's just short of moving that into maybe metaverse, for example, or virtual reality.
Wow, so selling sunset is a lie.
Yeah, so what happened to all the pretty girls and all? Yeah.
All the nice views,
all the nice views.
Wow, that's very interesting. Yeah. So anyway, back to you, Mark. I think for every single guest in my show, right, I actually ask them one question, right? Or this particular question is that if there's one word they will give to all the inspiring or aspiring entrepreneurs out there, right? What would that word be?
That word. I would say value.
Value.
Like value in a sense of how do you create value, whether it's your personal life or it's at work. Right. So value. Yeah. In a sense, because if let's say my wife doesn't see value in me today, maybe we wouldn't stay married, right?
That's true. Yeah.
Why do I need Mark?
That's a really good example. Yeah.
And at the same time, in your career, or even if let's say you're a boss next time, actually, even if you're a boss, you can think about it, right? If you still don't continue to add value to your internal team, actually here we always talk about external customers. There's also internal customers, which are our teammates.
Yes.
If we don't continuously help to help them grow, they won't see value staying in this place as well. Yeah. So I think at the end of it all, it's really down to value.
Right. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. Value, right? Make sure your value is upkeep, right? So Mark, I put your focus into this camera here, right? Any last parting words to our viewers out there?
Parting words, okay.
I think any words of inspiration to them? Yeah.
Yeah. I would say I think in this this day and age, it's really important to see how you can bring a certain it's down to the word value. Basically, how do you bring value to the marketplace? Because whether you are a YouTuber, you're also adding value through content, right? You're creating a lot of value through the educational stuff that you do or entertaining stuff that you do, right? Whether it's in your circle of friends, whether it's your family, value again takes that position where people are attracted to you because of something that you bring to the table, right? And recently we also talked about this thing. Actually, all of us are on a subscription model. Subscription model meaning
okay.
For work, because let's say you're paid a salary, that means you're employed and you're subscribed to by the company. They subscribe your services. So if one day your services fall short of that yardstick or that benchmark, that means your value probably doesn't exist anymore.
Wow.
Right. So we're actually all on subscription model. Right. So I think whether you're a young person looking to maybe you haven't started work, maybe you're in high school or you're secondary school or something, right? It's also how you add value to your friends. Why do your friends want to hang out with you? Right? So at the end of it all, I think it's all about how you add value.
Thank you very much for coming us, for joining us
Thanks for
on the
having
show.
me. Yeah, TD and Matthew.
Thank you.
All right.
And that's a wrap with Marc Chan, the dynamic force behind Property Lim Brothers and a true inspiration for anyone daring to chase their dreams.
So to all the young dreamers out there, take a page from Marc's book and remember, the journey is just as important as the destination. The climb may be tough, but the view from on top is always worth it.
Thanks for tuning in. Stay inspired, dream big, and we'll catch you in the next episode. Hi guys, thank you for listening. If you like what you have just heard, follow us for more content like this.